This is the story of how we painted our Landcruiser and got some amazing results. I can't believe that this is the car that we started this stupid, crazy, awesome journey with almost a year ago exactly. But spirits weren't always so high.
It's 8 o'clock. The tow truck is going to be here at 7 a.m. to take us to the paint booth. That means we have 11 hours to finish this car and possibly sleep. It's not quite ready, like at all. No, it's getting there, it's getting there. There's still a lot of sanding to do, a little bit of bogging, but not too much bogging left.
After weeks of rust repairs, bodywork and sanding, we weren't ready. So we sanded on into the night until the paper wore flat and we could no longer keep our eyes open, partially from exhaustion and partially from paint particles irritating them.
Tell us what's going on.
Well, it's 5:37 and the prep's not done. The car's only half finished sort of thing. But the tow truck gets here in an hour and 20. So we're just packing our trailer, get it towed there and then see what happens.
Forwards at least.
Yeah. So the car headed off to the paint booth and we got to work. And just in the nick of time, things started to work out. Alright, so with just a bit of help, we managed to get the car almost ready for paint. We've got a new procedure here where we're going to go for a 2K etch primer and then your standard primer over the top of that, and then we'll rub it down and put the colour on. That'll be tomorrow. Anyway, now we're going to do some panels. Luckily we'd finished prepping the panels well in advance, so I got to work learning how to spray primer with Nathan. Nathan owns the shop we're painting in and is an absolute encyclopedia when it comes to anything painting related. While I finish up the first coat of primer, you guys check out what Jess is up to.
It's sanded, maybe not as well as we would have liked, but it's sanded, which is what's important. And now we're almost done masking, then we can pop it in and prime it. So we're actually on track, which is very nice. The masking process consists of laying masking tape, sticky side up, behind every exposed edge on the car. This doesn't just give the 60 a gorgeous glow in the sunshine, it actually makes masking a super efficient process. This big plastic sheet gets thrown over the whole car, which then sticks down onto the tape. All you've got to do is cut away the sections of plastic covering the panels. Whoever came up with that was a bloody smart guy.
This is the most efficient, awesome thing I've ever seen. That one.
Me, I'm efficient and awesome. Look at that, all dressed up. With the car looking so nice, it's about time I get into an outfit to match.
Never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that I'd paint a car. That was always something that was way too expensive or unrealistic. But this is just awesome to watch. But you can't stare for too long because there's always more work to be done. Now that the panels I'd primed earlier had dried, the primer needed to be blocked back so it was super smooth for the actual paint to cover. The way we worked out what was smooth and what wasn't was to spray a super light matte black over the whole panel, then sand it back, and any low spots are revealed when the black doesn't get rubbed away. With a bit more sanding, you eventually get an ultra smooth, completely white surface. Alright, so it's almost 7. Thought I'd give you a bit of an update. Still sanding panels. Trying to get all the panels sanded tonight, ready for the paint tomorrow. But here's the car. It's been baked. It's pretty warm in here. But that is a good indication of the white that it's going to look like when it's finished. How mint is that? How mint is that? A couple of undulations there in the corner, but hey, I can't complain. The next day, Jess was suited up and ready to go straight away.
The car is primed, except for one little spot down there that we had to fix up because it didn't look very good. Just having a little power snack before I lay down the first bit of paint. We get to see what the 045 looks like, finally, which is super exciting. after it's not 30 years old. We're painting the car!
We had chosen to go with the same colour the car came in, 045 in number code, or as Toyota aptly named it, white. But when we went to mix up the paint, we discovered there were actually about 6 different versions of 045 white from all around the world. Apparently what happens when a colour is decided on by a manufacturer is they send out the colour blend to all their factories, who then mix it up themselves with slight differences in pigmentation or cleanliness of the mixer or slightly different amounts of each colour, and then they send a sample back to the manufacturer's headquarters, who then keep a record of all the slight variations in 045 white around the world. So we chose the specific blend that looked most appealing in a tiny thumbnail on a tiny computer screen and mixed it up and hoped for the best. Wow, it just blends like that.
A lovely shade of pink.
There's Nathan laying down the first bit of colour, so in just a minute we'll be able to see what it's going to look like in real life.
How do you like it?
What do you think?
Nice and shiny.
I think it looks awesome. Yeah. With a big tick of approval from Jess and I, and probably a big sigh of relief from Nathan after we mixed up all that paint, Jess got to spraying and I got to prepping the body of the car. Before we could spray colour on the body, we had to fill all the gaps we'd created when we repaired sections. Super satisfying, but ultimately messy, with every single one of my fingers getting a good coat of silicone. Anyway, let's see how those panels turned out. First coat done and it looks awesome, though some paint did run on the front corner of this panel.
And it's a tricky corner. I think you're actually doing everything fine. Doing exactly what you're doing. You're probably just bumping up in that area.
So Jess is putting a second coat on these panels, going pretty sweet. I'm just sanding the last panel that needs a bit of work, and then we're going to start on the car. So far, I'm just stoked.
First batch of panels is painted, which is very exciting. I did put it on a little bit thick in some spots, so it's dripping a bit, but, you know, buff it out. No big deal. A bit sad, but no big deal. But the colour's really nice. It's very different to the primer, a lot more of like an off-white as opposed to this very, very bright white, which I like. It's good. Less dirt, which I like.
We got the second set of panels set up in the booth. Once everything's in the booth, it all needs to be blown down to remove any dust, including the painter, and especially including the painter's face. Alright. Ready for paint?
Ready for paint.
What's your mask done?
Ready for paint.
The way Nathan taught us to spray panels was to start from underneath, hitting all the door jambs and interior faces. The next step was to go around the edges and extremities of the panel with great care. Lastly, but definitely not least, you get to spray the front face.
This is Bonnet Chats. We could start a podcast. Freshly painted bonnet. Interesting guest.
The panels are all painted. They're looking fabulous. I do say so myself because I painted them. And now we're onto the car, which is partially masked up, so we've just got to finish masking it, spray a little bit of etch where we over sanded it, and put some colour on it.
And it's 6:48 at night.
Is all the tape on?
Yep.
The
touch up here. Now, I'm not usually one for philosophy, but while we were masking I got to thinking, paint's funny, isn't it? Because it has limited practical use. Okay, it stops the bare metal from being exposed to the air. Maybe it ever so slightly protects the underlying structure, but it doesn't make the car go any faster. It doesn't help it carry any more weight, and it doesn't make it any more efficient. Ultimately, it just makes it look better. And that conflicted me. Because this next step, putting the colour onto the actual car, was really exciting. I was super stoked, but why? It was still going to be the same old beat up car under the new paint. After mulling over it for a while, eventually I decided that I was stoked because this was symbolic, like pouring cream over a tiramisu. We'd done the hard work, we'd beat the eggs and the sugar and left it in the fridge overnight even though we wanted to eat it straight away. We had something really good, and now we were able to just make it that little bit better by literally pouring cream all over it. So we masked up the whole car, it's looking pretty good, but we noticed that there was a bit of dust left on the roof over there. So quickly blew it down, and now we're just going to wax and grease remove, then blow down with a tack cloth again, then get suited up and she'll be ready for paint. Wax and grease remover just gets rid of any oils left on the car, mostly from our grubby fingerprints. This blue cloth is a tack cloth, which is a special sticky mesh that removes any dust or particles stuck to the surface that a quick blowdown can't fudge. And rubbing down the entire car with this sticky blue cloth was the last step in a year of work to get this old girl ready for a new look. Alright, first coat of actual paint on the body, let's do it. It was all going so well, until I walked back around to the driver's rear quarter and saw these two huge runs, though nothing could be done about them until the paint dried, so I just tried not to make them any worse and carried on, knowing I'd have to fix them the next day. Despite the runs, this was hands down one of the coolest experiences of my life. I'd recommend anyone who wants to paint a car to get in touch with Nathan, or at least check out his YouTube channel. Alright, first coat of paint done.
First coat done. We've got enough paint mixed up to do a full second coat, which you can basically start straight away from 20 minutes to finish this one. Just do everything in the same order.
Yep.
And then for the third coat, I need to just have a look over the car, look at what's dry, and just touch up those bits a bit more so we don't have enough paint to do the third coat.
Okay. And the only bad runs are on the unlucky quarter. Ready for a second coat? So the third coat, we didn't do everything, we just touched up the really visible areas. I think we said it, but I'm exhausted. Anyway, it's 10 o'clock at night. We're finished. Come have a look at the final product. How shiny is that? Look at that. Look at the reflection. I can't believe that this is the car that we started this stupid, crazy, awesome journey with almost a year ago exactly. I think we're 12 days off a year. It does not look the same. It's come so far. We've learned so much. It's a real milestone. I'm stoked to be here. 10 o'clock at night though. I'm going to bed. Last night, when I painted this section here, I just put a little bit too much paint on and it pulled in these areas and has run down the side a bit. So this morning, we went to fix it and had a couple of rub throughs. So we've just decided to respray this area, get it looking schmicko. It was lucky we had to respray the quarter, because when we got home we realised we'd forgotten something. At least it let us get this cool comparison of 30-year-old paint and our brand new fresh coat. Alright, so doing this touch up, 2 coats on, 1 to go. There's still a little bit of the old run in there, so hopefully with 3 coats that should just buff out now really cleanly with no rub through. And then it was done. So we let the car bake and pulled it out into the sun where the white really shone. Then got everything home to face the monumental task of putting it all back together.